49 Sparks.
Hi, it's Chris and Uta at 49sparks.com.
Yeah, and J-B Levy, our good friend Jean Benoit, he invited us to Berkeley, a wine store in Berkeley, where he was showing, or he still is showing, some of his posters that he made in Switzerland a couple years ago, and yeah, we saw them, and they're very, very cool. Jean Benoit, you're showing your posters here, and these are the posters you did them in Switzerland a couple years ago, and can you tell us something about them?
Yeah, so all the posters you're seeing here have the same size, which is already something very special for here. We have one size in Switzerland that allows a lot of graphic designers to do those posters. So my posters are works done with photography. I start to work with photography, and my specialty is how I integrate the text and the photography. So I work with different photographers. I'm always eager to know who's the newest photographer. I visit a lot of photographers, and I have developed through the year a relation with photographer. So they let me do a little bit what I want with their pictures. So that's quite special, I think.
And so the posters, these were done in Switzerland for Switzerland, and we were talking earlier that Americans don't do this. So why is that, and what's the difference between working on posters in Switzerland and working on something similar to that here in America?
Okay, the country has a long tradition of posters, street posters. So the poster you see here, those are posters that people put in the street.
Right.
They glue them on display, and those posters are meant to stay 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks there. You don't have this in America. You don't have such a system. You have maybe in a few cities like New York, certain small billboards, places like in the subway. You have also this here in San Francisco. You have one size over the entire country, which is the same like in Europe, which is for bus shelters. But this particular size, what we called in Switzerland Welt format, the world format, was meant to be one of those sizes that would allow more clients to access the world of the posters. So in America you see barely posters in the streets, and imagine, I mean, San Francisco is full of graphic designers. Such display, a system of poster in the street would be so great. You know, you would have poster from Michael Cronin beside the one from Martin Venetsky, beside many others, great graphic designer. And this is what happened in Switzerland. Every 2 weeks those posters are changing. So you are, as a graphic designer, you are exposed outside, you're exposing yourself, you take some chance with your poster, you take some risks, and if your poster is good, okay, if your poster is bad, it's very bad for you.
Sure.
And there is a dialogue between the young graphic designer. They want absolutely to make a poster after the school, you know, and that's how there is this permanent dialogue in the street. And apparently, I think in America they don't do this anymore. There have been some rules against too many posters, I think, too many advertising posters. But you have here what we don't have there, which is those beautiful billboards, you know.
And so these are all like 3 or 4 years old, or even older?
No, you have really here a panel from one of my earliest poster until the latest one. The earliest one, this yellow one, was for a small magazine, so small ads magazine, until the last one there, which is for a flea market. And so imagine a poster for a flea market. Who can afford that? And those posters have also this particularity that I have all kind of clients, and not only big clients that can afford, through the size and through the system that we have there in Switzerland, the display system of those posters, they can afford, small clients can afford to buy themselves a poster. So I have a few more posters maybe for hairdresser. This is something that's one of the markets for graphic designers. It's hairdresser like to do posters, and I have a fashion store, a film festival, a poster exhibition. So cultural, a lot of designers also work a lot on cultural events and so on.
And do you have from all the posters here, do you have one that's especially favorite? Your favorite?
Well, I could tell you the next one, but no, they all have a story, and they all came with a story. Like sometimes I was there with the photographer. Also, the photographer became my friends, so I've been very close to them just to get the poster. To get one poster, to have the okay for a client is already something very special. So you fight for it, and each of those posters, it's like you're asking me which of your children is the one you prefer. It's difficult because each of those posters, behind each of those posters, there is a lot of time. There is maybe, I would say, at least 1 week to 2 weeks full work, and it's a long process. I take very much time in the process of designing them. I'm not very good in rushing things. I need time. I need to put nice music, put myself into it, and design them step by step. Yeah.
What was going through your head while you were doing this? How did you develop the idea, and how does that work in your mind?
Okay, so this poster is for a hairdresser, and I already had made one poster for them, which is also here in the room, and they were so happy that after 2 or 3 years they asked me again to make a poster. So it's difficult to make a second poster, like a second movie or a second book.
Sure.
And I had in mind, I met in New York a graphic photographer who was working on this ancient technique on those rounded women in water, working with the old way of photography, like putting the coats of each color one by one. So there was this beautiful picture of this girl in the water, and I thought the movement of this girl in the water is very sensual. And I remember when I go to the hairdresser, when a woman go to the hairdresser, they wash your hair.
Yeah.
So, and she's completely surrendered into the water in a very sensual position. At the same time, she looks like a mermaid. And many of my posters are not direct. They always tell another story. So you have always a parallel message in there. So if you not really read that, and the way we do design poster, or a poster should be designed, it is that anyway you're going to pass them, and you're not going to read. So I always allow myself to work with a certain illegible typography on it, and I integrate it in a certain way, so you don't read everything on the same moment. So this poster, I think when you walk, you see this movement, this woman into the water, and the way we paste the poster in a town. I told you it's 2 weeks, so they are spread out in town, and the Swiss cities are done that you don't drive. You walk like many cities in Europe. So you have the time to come to them, and if you don't see it, you will see the poster a few street later. So, but I remember this poster in particular had some anti-sexist reaction. So certain feminists came to the poster and throw something on it. They were really unhappy.
Wow.
And but I know many other women who love that poster because it's an essential poster.
Yeah.
This is a special case too. It's a piece of art. It's not a photography that was existing in a way that I did not order this photography. I didn't make a sketch for this photography. It's an artwork from an artist, and I was very lucky that the artist let me completely integrate the typography inside of his picture. That's very rare. Normally an artist, he wants every text outside of the poster, and that's the strength of this poster. So the work of this photographer is making photogram, so with real people. He puts real people on a huge photo paper and come with lights and chemicals over the body of his model and enlarge, and so it's a photogram. And then I had to integrate what is on many posters, the dates, the exhibition, the name of the artist. So but it's very integrated, and the name of the gallery. So there is the address of the gallery, there is the first name of the artist, and everything mix each other. I picked up colors, and the way I spread out the typography was that it's integrated itself into the artwork. So I was lucky once again, because normally artists don't accept this. So of course I hope that there will be more great posters in the American streets.
Well, cool. Well, thank you very, very much. I really enjoyed this a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
49 Sparks.